In this video, which is again about Opuntia humifusa, I want to show you the easiest way to start new plants, which I believe I have a video up already about taking cuttings. And you can start these from seed, which I've also done, but they're much easier to start from cuttings, and that way you also know that you're getting the same plant instead of trying to purchase seeds and making sure they come from the same area, that they're actually Opuntia humifusa. There are an awful lot of type of prickly pears. Some of them are purple pads. Some of them are bright red flowers. There are an awful lot of them, and by taking a cutting off your parent plant, you know you're going to get the same plant that you have. And this is all you have to do. You cut a pad down at the narrow end with a sharp knife. You let it dry out for a couple of days, and then you place it on top of a sandy soil mix. And you leave it there, and it will start new growth like this one has. And so I have 6 of them here, and they're all due to be put into larger pots. These are 3-inch square orchid pots, actually, because that's what I had. But I can now put these in 4-inch clay pots, or even half-gallon or gallon size plastic pots, and let them just grow. And they will grow like the clay pots that I have out front. They grow slowly. The Opuntias grow slowly. And even though they're a desert plant, the humifusas are native to Massachusetts. So that's why I like them, because they are a natural plant that grows on the east coast where I am, Cape Cod, which is zone 7. So in a way, excuse me, that's a little unusual that we would have a native desert plant, but we do. Now, earlier in the year, I had started I think there were 17 seeds I started. And they have to be, you have to nick the coat of the seed with a knife and soak them. And you also have to give them a cold treatment, which I do have a video up about doing that. But out of those 17 that I started, I only got 2. Only 2 came up, and I just wanted to show you what they look like when they come up. Now this is why starting them from pads is so much easier, because it'll be next spring before this is really that big. They are a slow-growing plant, and ideally they're better off in the ground. I'm still keeping them in pots because, as I said, I think I'm going to be moving, and I'd rather just have them in the pots. If I find out later in the year that I'm actually going to be here, I could even put them in the ground then, in say late September, October. Put them in the ground and leave them there all winter. That will be their cold treatment, and then next spring they'll be growing like the pots that you saw in the other video, the new growth on the clay pot plants, or like this. So, and that would be a natural cold treatment. But this is the easiest way to start new Opuntia plants. And I started these about 2 months ago, I think. And they're all rooted, and when you have to use either tweezers or wear gloves so that the glow kids don't get you. But an easy way to do it is just hold the pot sideways, tap the whole plant out, and then pick it up by the root ball, and then put it in a larger pot. So these are newly started rooted pads of Opuntia humifusa. Now, the word humifusa got cut off there when I ended the video. So those were the rooted pads of Opuntia humifusa. I have to be a little careful here because there are a lot of wasps on the thyme plants. Now, the thyme plants are the plants that you see that have little tiny purple flowers. And the bees love them. But what I wanted to show you is that. That is a different type of Opuntia. It's a cold hardy plant. There are actually 2 of them there, and the time is overrunning them, so I have to trim all of that back, and I have to do that at night, you know, when there aren't any bees around. But you can see that's kind of a large plant, and that was in a pot for about 5 years, and then last fall I put it in the ground, and I don't know the name of it, the full name. Some of those bees are kind of aggressive. So anyway, I wanted to just show you a quick view of one large Opuntia when it's in the garden.